Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of EMC3 Chat, where we serve, sip, and spill all the spiritual tea. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Gemini season, all the goodies, what to expect, and how to use these energies to your benefit. My name is Matthew Baniak with Stillwater Alchemy, and today I'm joined by my two favorite Geminis. We have Elizabeth Robinson from the Gemini Guide, who is a psychotherapist, yoga teacher, and soul tarot reader, and the illustrious babe, Chris Corsini, who is a Reiki plus energy worker, light worker, and performs under the name Middle Child. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Fabulous.
Ready to chit chat.
Elizabeth, what tea are you drinking today?
Oh.
Well, today is actually bullet coffee because I need that extra energy and I need to keep my hunger low. So that's what we're doing.
Very good.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I have hibiscus. There's a Japanese store around the corner and they have the best dried tea. It's like it's a flower. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Sounds pretty bougie. I'm just straight up doing lemon ginger for like my throat, solar plexus, making sure that we go through this weekend with all the goods.
Yeah, I'm into that. Do you want to start with, like, what are we going to talk about first? I have some cards out. We know there's astrology coming up. This is for Gemini season. So, like, what are you feeling?
Well, you guys are like two of my favorite Geminis, of course, but like in the world, if people don't know, like, who are some famous Geminis that you love, or like people that you admire that exude quintessential Gemini energy?
True. I actually don't know. I'm going to check my Instagram photos for the Gemini. Who is Gemini? Oh, Marilyn Monroe. That's who I have on my...
Oh, of course. Yeah. Iconic.
Monroe. Also, Donald Trump is fucking great, isn't he?
I mean, he uses his words for power, and we're going to talk about that too, like the gifts of Gemini, but he is an orator, and he's able to like lead with his words and his thoughts, which is a huge Gemini mood and gift.
Which is a huge issue. I actually just, we're not even going to get into that. Sorry, Elizabeth, you go ahead. What do you feel about Gemini when you think of him?
Well, I guess like you're my favorite Gemini, if I have to say, and I'm also my favorite Gemini. Because I have a Leo moon, so if I don't choose myself, like, guys.
What are you even doing here?
But if I had to pick like a character that I know is a Gemini, if you guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jake Peralta is a Gemini, and he's classic Gemini. The way he talks, the way he plans things, his ability to think. So yeah, those are my favorite gems.
I've never watched that show, so I need to apparently check that out.
Absolutely.
It's cute. He's a vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Naomi Campbell wins for me, hands down. I think like she's iconic. She uses her voice. She's stunning. Threw a cell phone back in the day. Yeah, she's Gemini.
Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
Bitch. Oh my God, I love that.
And Heidi Klum.
Cell phone at somebody once?
Like back in the day,
yeah,
it's like, look it up.
Yeah. I would do that. I'm explosive. But now I can control that, thank God.
We're good. So yeah, those are like cool Gemini energy. So like, you guys, what do you feel like being Geminis? What do you feel are some gifts or some skill sets that are beneficial for the collective energy or for like their place in the zodiac? What are good traits?
Oh my God, like just the fast track thinking of like constant, like, this is how I explain any situation about Gemini, how their mind works, at least for like the deacon that I'm in, which is like for people who are listening. Is that how you pronounce it? Deacon?
Yep.
Yeah, the deacon, like the house is split into 3 chunks, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So those are deacons, first, second, and third. So oh Jesus, I just smacked my table, sorry. I think in the second deacon, correct? I'm June 6th.
Yeah.
Right. So that to me, how I look at that is that I would be very saturated Gemini. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because Deacon 3 and Deacon 1 are mixed with the next houses.
The previous zodiacs.
Or like the one after, yeah.
Right, okay. So that's how I've always thought of it. So I love the confirmation on that. Secondly, I think that is very, like, yeah, my mind never stops. It's like when I see something, I'll be able to see it as myself, as my human conditioned, programmed reaction to seeing the situation. And then I have a twin that literally comes through one side and will be like, okay, no, let's look at it this way. This is how it could blah, 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 blah. And that totally makes sense to me, but I'm also a Libra rising. So Libra rising can be swayed with a good argument. So like, then the other twin shows up and the other twin is like, no, bitch, that is not what's happened. And then there's a whole, so now I have my opinion as a quote unquote, like human reaction. And then I have like twin 1 one voice, twin 2, the other voice, and then the Libra rising does not help. So like, there's like 5 voices in my head. I don't even think you need to be a Libra rising for a Gemini to have 5 voices in your head. It is crazy making.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, does that reign true to you?
I mean, absolutely. And I think like to bring light to what you were saying with the deacons, I'm a deacon 1. I fall in the May Geminis, so it's very, very different, I find, than the June Geminis. That being said, I believe Geminis are, as a teacher once said to me, the great connectors.
Yes.
So they're really good at mirroring things. They take something internal, they feel something within them, and they can recognize it in the external. They bring it outside of them and see it existing in the world outside, and then it resonates back in. So in the tarot, they're the Lovers, right? It's ruled by Gemini.
Lover's card, I pulled it.
Right? So it's that mirroring effect. When you fall in love, you're not necessarily falling in love with that person per se. You're falling in love
with who you are when you're loving that person.
You're falling in love with the things that you see in them that are you.
Right.
So, right? Exactly what you just said. They're mirroring back qualities that exist within you.
To myself, in my head. That is a real Gemini thing. I can tell you that.
It is an absolute Gemini thing. And it's just, that's why it makes us the social butterflies, or why people feel we are fake, or why we have it,
we're just adapters.
We just can connect with everyone. We can find, I can find me in you, and I can find me in you, and I can find me in everyone. I love everyone. That's what makes me a social butterfly.
I know, you know what? I feel that, and there have been a few, we're not even going to get into this, but there have been a few people in my past who are just like, you're a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm actually not, bitch. Like, I'm like, we're not two-faced. We're not, like, we're a jack of all trades. So, like, don't fucking come to me with your low vibrational Geminis are two-faced. Like, you don't know me, girl. You're not my Gemini. Like,
we can connect with so many, and not a lot of people can do that. Like, there's not a lot of zodiac traits other than Gemini that have that ability to be friends with everyone. It's kind of pansexual in a way, I suppose.
And I actually enjoy everyone too.
It's very much the pansexual sign. So, yeah, I think Geminis are the great connectors. We can communicate, we can perceive, we are a view of, and we are of one our own selves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you guys were just talking, how you guys are going back and forth simultaneously, is like Gemini energy. It's like you're both the twins right now. So for people watching the video on YouTube, it's like that is perfection, Gemini personified. 100%.
That's so funny. That's on my
on my astrological.
I was answering.
From like a zodiac perspective, Gemini is mutable air energy. So it's like the wind. It never wants to be contained. It wasn't just like, it just wants to explore, get to know everyone and everything, which is exactly what you guys talked about, right? Which sometimes can get them in trouble because they overcommit, because they do want to support and be around so many interesting, cool people. And then for fixed energy, like a Scorpio or a Taurus, when they're like 2 minutes late, they're like, this person's fake or flaky. But Geminis are literally just like racing from one end of the city to the next, or like one side of their brain to the other, trying to be like stimulated and also offer support to everything that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find I'm like in constant motion of creating something, because while I'm doing something, the other twin is there like thinking of like, okay, what is the next thing that we're gonna do that I need to get down on my list? It's like, I was talking to somebody who was like, you work so much. I'm like, first of all, I love working because I love what I do. You know what I mean? So it's like you being able to grab one thing and then see it, the other twin like is hunting, and then it's like as you're grabbing something, just you keep taking the next thing and you place it all together. Like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy energy. It can be exhausting though too. I do find that like, because I'm so air sign, I'm out of my body. I'm not in my body enough. So like I will go like days without like drinking water. I'll go like 2 days without drinking water. I'm like, what the fuck have I been doing? Like I mean, tea helps, but still it's just like, no, I need to remember, like now I'm on a really good schedule to do like at least 20 minutes of yoga every single day. And it just stretches my body. It reminds me that, because like I'm too in my head. And I think that's where, even if you're like learning tarot for just like listeners, like when you think of air energy, that is the swords. That is like the Knight of Swords flying all over the place, leaping into the next thing. It doesn't really sometimes make sense, but they're just like, I know I need to do this. And then later it all connects again, which is great, because the other twin was like seeing the like bird's eye view of it all. Like, it's just a strange thing. But like, yeah, totally losing the pentacles. Like I don't feel grounded at times. I need to work on grounding my energy into my human experience.
And let's feed off that for a moment, because even how you just described it, like being in your body, Gemini rules the nervous system.
Right.
And our ability to breathe, and I think the hands as well, correct me if I'm wrong. But
no, it is the hands, which is
right. Yeah, it rules the central nervous system. Yes. So like Gemini's ability to understand where their emotions come from and how it works within them is like that, once again, that great connection. So getting into yoga, doing breath work is so essential for Gemini season, anyone in general, but that's the energy of like being able to harness the breath.
I really enjoyed I took your free class on IGTV and we did some breathing, and I was really into the breathing exercises. So like the fucking lions, like scoot your face up and then with your tongue, and like I had done that when I was doing Kundalini yoga in Los Angeles years ago, and like, oh my god, my partner at the time had a fucking meltdown because I would like, everybody in the class wears white, wraps their head in white. So I was like, fuck this. If I'm going to India or wherever the hell I'm going, I'm like gonna respect the culture and try it out. I'm gonna fully commit to this. Like, I'm not just gonna go in my black shirt. So my partner freaked out. But that being said, the breath work that I was doing at this Kundalini yoga class was next level. It opens up and heals your body and allows, like, it's craziness. Like, it's, I love it. I love every second of breath work.
Yeah, breath work is definitely my jam, and definitely a way to heal a lot of the Gemini things that come up for people. So even if you're not a Gemini and you're experiencing things that need to be healed by Gemini energy, because in the zodiac, and this is where Matt can come in and explain a little bit more to the people listening, is that it's the third zodiac sign in, and it's the first sign that moves away from the self. Because we have Aries, which is the birth of the zodiac, it's about the self. Taurus, it's about possessions, it's about owning and claiming a beautiful space for yourself. And then Gemini, it's about bringing it outwards and sharing it. So that breath work and that ability to connect to yourself and understand that you're something more and you're amongst everyone, a collective being, it's super powerful in this season right now to be able to relinquish that control.
Yeah, and the North Node just moving into Gemini, which is like, I kind of look at it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like the South Node is like the butthole of the energy system. It's just like, it's where all the shit goes and it flies out. And then the North Node would be like your mouth, you drinking water, fresh energy into, or like opening your mind to absorb the new crown chakra. It's like North Node move. It's also about leadership, as is this whole season, really. Geminis do have an energy of leadership to them. Yeah, sorry. So like, go ahead. I don't know what.
No, that's beautiful too. And I think the North Node, South Node is very important to know, because we're going to be in this energy for a while, right? So North Node's also where you're headed and where the collective energy is going. And the South Node is what we're leaving behind. And with South Node being Sagittarius, the way we view travel, education, higher learning, that's all going to be revolutionized now. It's like we're moving away from what we thought we knew from all those topics, and now Gemini energy is going to be huge in terms of educating people, informing them, speaking, conversing, again with that Saturn and Aquarius energy, like the collective energy. What we're doing right now is we're all speaking, using technology in a beautiful way. And for me, air energy, which Gemini falls beautifully into, is all about the mind, thoughts, words, breath, meditation, journaling, writing, speaking. And like, you guys are prime examples of what you do in your profession. And if you look at really famous Geminis, they kind of exude that energy. And we now have Mercury in Gemini for like the first little bit of Gemini season. So again, how can you use your words and your mind to really propel you ahead, especially once quarantine is going to be lifted? I think that's going to be very huge for everyone, because a lot of people's minds and words are not correct right now.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go into like a dip and then an expansion again of some kind. Like, this is just not looking cute.
We also have some like major eclipses coming up too in June, so it's like, I think a lot of people with all the retrogrades happening have like a certain mindset.
In June,
there's 2 eclipses in June.
I thought the eclipse was, there's a new moon in June, and then I thought no. There's a new moon in May 22nd, and then gotcha. Okay.
So we have a lot going on astrologically that we could like.
Also, this Gemini new moon will eclipse in 6 months.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, so that's what I was thinking of. Because, there was something else that you were just talking about, and I really wanted to piggyback on that. I was going to say something about Geminis just being like great brainstormers, but
Got you.
Is that what you were going for?
I don't even remember. Whatever. Let's just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. I mean, Elizabeth touched briefly too, for people that are into astrology. In modern astrology, Gemini is that third house, which is intellect, communication, but it also talks about siblings and your neighborhood and short trips. So again, Gemini is really good at like connecting people around them for like a common cause. And that's, Chris, what you talked about, the leadership aspect is like they're able to connect a lot of people because they can see things from so many different vantage points and ideas that they're like, we're all into this. Let's converse and connect with this aspect. Again, air energy, connecting minds and people together, which I think is a beautiful trait that Geminis don't often get credit for.
Oh, I know what I was going to say now is that when you said the South Node moves into Sagittarius, and Sagittarius represents travel, exploration, new things, like new ideas, new movement, and all that sort of shit. With the South Node moving into that topic, it's like, yeah, literally watching the ways we travel, and like even with the flights and everything that's happening with the plane, like that's not just going to bounce back to normal. Like there's just a lot of change happening, like you said, with the travel and us literally getting ways or getting rid of these old ways. It's just, yeah, it's an interesting time. And I feel like we kind of are really just being called to step into, like, I literally have the Tower, Judgment, and the Ace of Cups. So it's like, we're literally everything that we know is like being removed from us, probably internally, not only externally. And we're being given this opportunity. I have the Sun here too, which is also the
Oh my gosh, I also have the Sun.
Yeah, and like the Gemini vibe that I'm getting from, because my lovers is reversed. So like the reversed lovers to me right now, which is the card of Gemini, it's like releasing old version of the Gemini, releasing like this Gemini going through transformation. And then we have the Sun Gemini that's here too, right? So this is what we're going into. And the imagery on it is even like a little fucking naked baby riding a horse, which is like the happiest baby in my life. But I find that even the imagery of like going from to the baby from the reversed adults is very like shedding old skin. And like, I swear I can literally feel the difference in my way of thinking from all of the energy work I've been doing and everything. Like, it's fucking crazy. And we are, and other Geminis out there need to A, take their role very seriously right now, I feel. And B, it's like they need to show up. Oh my God, this literally makes me want to cry because I can like feel the collective pain. It's like, we Geminis need to show up for other people right now because we are the lucky ones in a sense where our change is different. Like there's a different energy to our change. I have a lot of clients and I witness multiple people's changes right now. And like the other 11 signs, with the exception of like 1.5, is that like there's, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 12 signs right now are going through it. So like we do need to stand up and and like with Elizabeth stepping into her role now, it's like yoga teacher, psychotherapist, like you finally finished school. It stopped holding you back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now that's not a fucking coincidence while the rest of the world is going through this collapse that you can pop out the other side and just be like,
absolutely. There's divine timing. And even like how you said that I'm a Gemini and like my life path right now, if you know me personally, how I just bloomed out with the end of April. So coming into this Gemini season, I'm really stepping into it with the Gemini North Node. So I'm really owning my energy right now. And like piggybacking off the tarot that you've pulled, I have the 6 of Discs. I have the 10 of Swords. And I have the 3 of Cups.
Oh, I love that.
So
10 of Swords and 3 of Cups. That's a
powerful combo. Right?
Yeah.
So I see like body work, like that breath work, like spending time in the body, like really focusing on what it is that would make the body feel good right now.
Yeah.
That community, that connection, friendships, like somehow connecting with people even though we're still in isolation, and then letting go of the mental games and the things that like are, that are overdue, that need to be like literally like get that out of there. Like let it all go. Like just let the unbelievable beliefs leave.
Yeah, like drop the old baggage. The Judgment card is about new beginnings. I literally just pulled my tarot or my oracle deck, Alchemy. It's like, what is it that you can think of right now? I'm so aware of my thoughts during these times. Like, it's crazy. And I find that is not something that's always been easy. So like, there's an energy right now that's really supporting all of us to like get those clear thoughts so that you can make more space for the Gemini thoughts that are like, you know, that influence to all of us of needing to think in a different way, learn how to communicate better. What is it that you want to say? How do you want to say it? Like, words hold power. You can't just wake up every day and be, this is what I was just going to say. And then anyways, now I'm jumping to the example, but I have a lot of clients and like 5 of coins comes up a lot. And it's like, you have a lack mindset and vibration that eventually this will end. If you have this energy emitting from you in a frequency of eventually this will end, then you're feeling like right now I'm not good enough to have X, Y, and Z, which literally continues to attract that situation. Like, people need to be so aware of the thoughts and how they pull back. Even the tree reversed, it's like they're not allowed to expand outwardly just yet because they don't understand how strong their mind is.
Yeah, like literally what you guys are talking about also like resonates with the cards that I pulled. I have Strength reversed and 10 of Pentacles reversed. And again, very timely with retrograde season being hot and heavy this year. And again, shedding old layers, going inward and doing the self-love. Like when I see Lovers reversed, it's like now it's time to do the self-love internally, because if you can't give yourself the attention and the praise and the value, then you can't really expect a partner to do that, which is why a lot of people want to be in relationships. It's because they want that validation, but they can't give it to themselves.
Right.
Until you can do that inner work, which for me is a Strength reversed, is like you need to kind of give yourself some love in all aspects, because then right after I have the Sun and 4 of Pentacles, right? So it's like you just need to let go and trust, because so many people, like, they get so close, and that's when the ego comes in. It was like, oh, like, do you really think you're worthy enough? It's like, have the money, have the skills and the talents, and that's right before that breakthrough is when people give up on themselves. So that's like the Sun is coming. Like, Chris, you pulled the same card as well, but it's like you need to let go of those old mindsets, old people, old value systems before that can occur.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, I have 7 of Swords here, and it's somebody, you know, leaving. It's an interesting card, I find, because it's, to me, somebody leaving behind 2 swords. Swords, again, representing mentalities, ideas, thoughts. So we literally are leaving things behind. And there's 5 swords on his shoulder, and he's running away. So you're taking the ones that you do want, that you do value. That is a quote unquote, I would say, high vibrational energy here. But then to mix in the low vibe of the quote unquote sneaky 7 of Swords, it's like, I do feel that it's because there's been so many times that we have been quote unquote wronged. And like, even with Gemini being such a mental, you know, the Lovers reverse, such a mental sign going through transformation, it's like, it's really easy right now for us, like you're saying, to fall back into these old patterns of self-sabotage, because these old ideas are coming back around and we're thinking, oh wait, that's how I was hurt, or that's how I was cheated, or that's how somebody lied to me, and that is a little bit of that 7 of Swords energy, the deceit. But then it's like, no, Judgment, babe, like, and the Ace of Cups is here. Like, you need, beside this crumbling tower, you need to like rebuild yourself. You need to commit to yourself fully right now, because once this like Rubik's Cube stops shifting after all is said and done, which is going to be like a while before quote unquote normalcy returns. But like, when normalcy returns and this lifts, we will be in a different place. And if you can structure that mindset right now and those habits to get you there, like, it's just, you got to move on. You have to drop the shit like your 10 of Swords.
Yeah, you have to let go of the mind games that keep you from being within the body. Your body wants to be a part of the process, like wants to be in the decision-making seat with you. And so often we ignore what our body is trying to tell us. It's a gateway into our psychic abilities. And you, with like everything you just said, and like the fact that I pulled the 10 of Swords, it's like, you really need to let go of the mind games so that the body can finally shift forward with you.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Which is a big thing of ascension too. Like, and I've been randomly having pains in my body again, and old things always come up. Like I talk to a lot of clients who are always like, oh, I had a shooting pain in my leg or something. And I'm just like, honestly, when your body releases energy, it is on a traumatic, like traumas happen on a cellular level. So there's literally, I explain it as like, you're going to feel like a pulse of pain, which is like literally the energy coming out. And it's like, I mean, I'm not a doctor, go see a doctor if you're like, oh, I have crazy pain. But like, you know what I mean? It does release on a physical level, and it's been really intense. And
absolutely.
Yeah, like it's an intense time for all of us. And that Scorpio full moon hit me hard.
Woo!
Holy shit, right?
Everyone. I'm a Scorpion. I was like, I'm feeling so good. And then it was like, crash. And then I was like, and I'm out. I need to sleep.
And down we go. Exactly. You're in this going. Okay, so what else is on the menu this June?
We can talk a little bit about the astrological transits, because I know a lot of people are feeling it the past little while with like so many planets in retrograde, because we had Pluto starting us off, and then now this past week we had Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, kind of one after the other, which is like kind of rare to have three huge ones that are quite significant, all pretty much like one after the other. And again, I think it's timely that quarantines are being lifted all over the world, and it's like, let's go back to normal, let's speed up. And then the retrogrades are here to teach us calm your shit and calm down, which is like all the cards that we pulled. There's like still a lot of inner work to do that people either did not or don't want to do. Because I always look at the Seven of Swords as like running away from responsibilities, and it's like, you know, you need to do things. It's like you're taking all the bad swords that are like dull and rusty. It's like the two that are great, for some reason you're not looking at them with worth. It's like you're just running away instead of actually dealing with the mindsets. It's like those ones are probably the heaviest ones to carry. So you just want to take the easy way out, and you're like, bye. And it's like, no, you need to like train with these swords if you want to level up.
I have never fucking, excuse my French, thought of that card that way.
Like, again, one interpretation.
You're like, that's just one amazing interpretation. Like, yeah.
I love it though. It's so true.
That was great.
It's so true, because we're self-sabotaging with our thoughts, and we are rejecting the things that we deem that isn't necessary, but it's like actually the things that you're ignoring and that you're not including are the things that you should be focusing on. So I think that was beautifully said. Like, stop with the self-sabotaging thoughts and focus on the things that actually need to be focused on.
And even if those swords are like heavy, you need to train with them so you get stronger. Because like we always do it. It's like the main thing that we need to do throughout the day. It's like the hardest, and we always procrastinate. We're like, no, I'll clean my house. No, I'll do this email. No, I'll do that. When it's like the one thing that you should be doing, you always leave to last minute, and then just it keeps on getting ignored.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that I feel tying back to what you were saying earlier, Elizabeth, about coming into the body. It's like, I've been so focused on, I mean, we are also having the sun move into our first house, right? So that is about self. So if you are a Gemini, you're probably noticing that like stepping into new identity. And that's like literally the other day, I opened my fridge and pulled out a red pepper, and I just ate a red pepper like an apple. I was like, I would never just eat a red pepper like that. Like I would put it in a salad maybe, but like it's just, I've noticed the health thoughts, the change in the body, the focus to the body, that is in the air. It's a good time to apply like habits or discipline or structure again.
Yeah.
And that would have to do with the Saturn retrograde, correct? Going back into Capricorn?
There's a lot happening. So Saturn is currently retrograde in Aquarius, and it's going to be retrograde in Aquarius until July 1st. And then from July 1st until end of September, it'll be retrograde in Capricorn, and then it won't go directly back into Aquarius until the end of 2020, where hand in hand it's going to be with Jupiter to enter 2021. So like you said, it's like this normalcy, quote unquote, is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be like the next 6 months, and kind of tying back into the eclipses that you were talking about. It's like really the work that people are going to put in this Gemini season is literally going to dictate the next 6 months. And that's just like the hot tea being spilled. It's like, if you want the results, this is the time to do the work.
Holy shit. Okay. I'm feeling fucking, it's so crazy. Like after Elizabeth's yoga class, I was like bawling my eyes out. And then even during it once too. But there was a moment there where I was just like, wow. Where literally my alarm went off in my head. It was just like, wow, I need to really man up. And like with Mercury coming, Mercury is our ruling planet, Mercury retrograde coming up, like this is going to hit us fucking hard. So like, we really are being challenged to like, did you learn? Like, I've had a lot of fucking lessons over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, decade, my whole lifetime, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it's time to put it into motion. I've always known I should be doing yoga and eating red peppers, but now I have to do it, or for the rest of my life, I will be fucked up. And correct me if I'm wrong, Saturn is the coach that will like get you to the Olympics or like kick the shit out of you in 6 months from now because you didn't listen to him and you, in your gut, knew you should have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. It's like the dad / drill sergeant that's going to push you to climb that mountain and then do a tough motor course and then fucking do a triathlon. And then it's like, again, and then you can look back at your resiliency and tenacity and being like, I never thought I could do that, but by pushing myself, I am accomplished way more than I thought. Like, it's always that aspirational, inspirational energy that you get after going through the trials, going through the fire, and then ascending.
Yeah, it's having the discipline to do action, because action creates motivation, and then action gets results, and then results gets motivation, and motivation will make you take more action. So to have the discipline for that trifecta is what is needed, and that's what I'm hearing you guys just say. Thank you. Thank you for the small clap. Yeah, so just be disciplined, and it's okay if some days you're laying on the couch and you're not able to do something, like be within that contraction, but then tell yourself like, okay, I know that if I do this and I am disciplined with my regimen, I'm going to get the results that I want, and that's going to motivate me more. So fall into that triangle. That's what I tell my clients.
And also the idea of laying on the couch and vegging out and doing your that can also be something that you schedule and that you are structured with. Like, I have to like give myself 2 hours of Netflix like every night or something, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't have that in my head, or I don't have that full structure set up just yet, but yes, I'm still trying to structure it. But I usually will like at least give myself a full hour of like no cell phone, nobody messaging, like nothing, you know what I mean? And I have to force myself to do that, because as a Gemini, the other twin's like, oh, just do this though, and then just add that, and then just do the, and it never ends.
Right. The productivity twin versus the lazy twin. And they can be both, right? You can have everything you want and need in a life. You just need to know how to be in relationship with those things. Like if you're in a relationship with something that's controlling you, if you're addicted to TV and you don't know how to turn it off, you're in a toxic relationship with it. You have to be in balance with it. You have to be in control with it. You get to make the decision of how it looks in your life.
Right. Also, too, like the flip side, you can be addicted to the work and the success, and then you're like, I want more. I'm getting more money and more accomplishments, and I'm seeing the results. But then your body is like, I cannot take this right now. If you keep pushing me, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to manifest an injury, to literally force yourself to slow down. So it's like both ends of the coin. And you guys both beautifully said it. It's like you need to schedule in that rest, that divine feminine, because that's where you get to receive a lot of the times the manifestations that you put forward. You can't just keep grinding and working. So it is that balance, which again ties into our Gemini energy.
And I find that that's even something that you can truthfully just schedule with the moon cycles. Like if you're doing, and like even with the moon workshops, like I do moon workshops, you do moon workshops. Like if people are staying with, sorry, for listeners, Matthew does, I said you, so they're like, who's you? Matthew and Christopher, we do moon workshops. And if you're staying with the new moon, you're going to plant new intentions. You're going to plant new ideas. You're going to move forward, being productive and trying to accomplish things. And then, 2 weeks later, slow down with the full moon and give yourself like the second month or the second half of the month, to an exception, should be like resting as we've like peaked and now we're releasing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't be on 24/7. It's very apparent to me now. And that's something that I'm really trying to like slow the fuck down. I do want to mention also, it is 4 minutes and 51 seconds left. Yep. So why don't we say that this conversation will just continue on Patreon, and then we can just keep talking for the next 4 minutes. And then when it cuts out, you guys can find the rest of the conversation on Patreon, right? So like, there's no need to do like a big dramatic exit. Why don't we just keep talking for 4 minutes?
And then source and the universe will cut us off whenever it needs to.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll keep an eye on the clock because I can see it here, 4 minutes and 21 seconds now. So we'll do a quick like bye. So let's continue. Do we have cards that we haven't talked about? Is there planets you haven't talked about? Like what can we jam into 4 minutes for the freebie?
Oh yeah, there's lots of tea that can be spilled. Specifically, like you said, Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini, which brings in that mercurial intellect, wit, humor that Geminis really do encompass and personify. And so Mercury is going to move into Cancer on May 28th, which is all about the emotions. Cancers can kill you and they will. Like, it's a lot of emotion.
I have a Cancer moon, so I'm getting double booked for this.
I mean, you can also use it to your advantage and be able to feel those feelings. And you guys are both like, we're all energy workers, and that ability to connect and hold space for the emotions, because emotions are just energy in motion, right? And so we all have them, and being able to harness them is great. But just so everyone knows, especially with all the intense retrogrades that are happening, and then Mercury going into Cancer, it's going to be a full moon. And then we'll talk about this more after as well, but Mercury is going to go retrograde in Cancer on June 18th. So between June 18th and June like 25th, it's going to be a mood. Let's just put it like that.
I literally have Cancer here under this pile of 3, and this could not say it best. It's like, and Liz, me and you talking about not checking into the body, Queen of Pentacles reversed.
There we are.
Okay, so I have 2 of Cups here, which again, bringing things into balance. This is almost like making the twins agree on things. That's a really good rule that I try to live by, that I don't. But it is like time to just slow down, and you only decide on something when the twins can really agree on it, because you're in a balanced place where you can see it from both perspectives and moving forward. So like with everybody, really, what are you doing? Like before you do that, look at it from 2 perspectives and be like, I could go down this road or I could go down this road. That will help you through this Gemini season, especially with 2 of Cups, balancing out the masculine and feminine energies. Last 2 cards here, I have 4 of Swords and 6 of Wands. So again, pulling back, slowing down. Do not speak unless you are spoken to, and think about your speaking. Don't fucking share everything you're doing with everybody. It's like there's these ideas and energies of success coming in, but there's only one person on that horse. Like, take the horse, take your leadership role, full circle moment. We've got the wreath there. That's the sun coming right back around. Earth has done a full rotation. And yeah, we just gotta, oh, there was something else I was gonna say there. The 6 of Wands, Gemini, June 6. And then I also have 4 of Swords and 2 of Cups, 6 again. I'm dead ass. Okay, who's next? Less than a minute. Wrap us up.
Find your new path. Stay focused and ambitious. Like, don't like take any of this as even negative stuff. Like, just literally just find a way to like invest it as fuel into your pathway and have fun. Make magic. You are magical. You have the power within you. So
magician. We are the magician card at times.
Yeah.
So if you guys want a second cup of tea, be sure to join us on Patreon for more convos and good times and good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Loving this. Chat soon, y'all.
Bye.